The stage is set in Germany for the 48th G7 meeting. World leaders have started arriving. Like most high-stakes summit, the Ukraine-Russia war is going to dominate the talks. In one of the firsts, US President Joe Biden reached the host country. He was greeted with a red carpet welcome. He is on a 5-day trip to Europe. Biden will first attend the meeting of the Group of Seven, where he is expected to lead economic powers in the Bavarian Alps. And later, he is set to travel to Madrid for a summit with leaders of the 13 NATO countries. The G7 consists of 7 leading economies of the world, namely Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, United Kingdom and United States. Germany took over the presidency just this year. Some other issues that are likely to be discussed are energy security, climate change, COVID-19 pandemic and food security. For years, G7 has attracted protesters to its venue, and this year is no different. Some 1,500 people gathered to criticize governments for their inaction against climate change. This is an issue that is going to be widely discussed in the summit as well. Now, this is an important issue, but has been more prominent since the Russia-Ukraine war. Climate activists had hoped that the war will be a silver lining for the environment. You see, at international stages like the COP26, these rich G7 countries made tall claims to lower emissions and adopt transition to renewable energy. So now, when an unusual opportunity came up, activists were optimistic that countries will cut their dependence on fossil fuels. But that's not what's happening. Rich countries are making a dash for fossil fuels. So as Russia continues to burn its own natural resources, Western countries are investing elsewhere for new coal, oil and gas. They're either resurrecting old mines at home or approaching smaller countries to burn fossil fuel on their behalf. The Group of Seven event will start in a couple of hours from now, and we will get you all the details. But for now, let's focus on a country that has been invited for the meeting but isn't a member of the grouping, India. Germany invited its close Asian ally. Washington says that New Delhi's presence on the table is crucial because its dependence is deep and diverse. This comes at the heel of the West and India's differing stance on the war. US and Europe have chosen to go the sanctions way, but India has chosen diplomacy. So will India's cameo in Germany affect its relations with Moscow? Well, G7 leaders say that the aim is not to splinter the two allies.
German Chancellor Mr. Scholz, Honorable Prime Minister, will be travelling to Schloss Elmu near Munich in Bavaria, South Germany, this Sunday, that is 26th of June, actually the midnight of 25th of June, to participate in the G7 summit.
India has made it clear that even after the G7 meeting, New Delhi will continue to purchase crude oil from Moscow. While there are simmering tensions with the West, the Foreign Secretary says that India's regular participation in summits like the G7 is an indication of acceptance by the West. Now, this will be Prime Minister Narendra Modi's second trip to Germany in 2 months. In May, he paid a visit for the 6th edition of the India-Germany Intergovernmental Consultations. He is expected to hold bilateral meetings with other G7 leaders as well. Now, for more on this, our WION's principal diplomatic correspondent Siddhant Sibbal is currently in Munich, tracking all the details for you. Take a look.
Day for diplomacy in next few days. The G7 summit begins today at around 3 p.m. Indian Standard Time. The French president and the American president are already in Germany for the summit. Other world leaders are expected to reach later today. Now, we know that the summit happens in the backdrop of the Russian invasion of Ukraine, something that is going to dominate the agenda, and also its impact on the food and the fuel prices. So there can be a concerted effort that can be announced by the grouping, and sanctions against President Putin. Now, we also know that the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi will also be in Germany later today, and his key focus area will be the address to the Indian diaspora and also meeting with the Argentinian president. Now, Indian Prime Minister has been to Germany just last month. That was a bilateral visit, and this is a multilateral visit. But by and large, at the summit, the outreach meeting that is going to take place on Monday, he is going to suggest ways to deal with the current global issues, especially the issue of climate change. With video journalist Siddhant Sibbal for WION in Garmisch, Germany.